Hey folks, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. So the Affordable Connectivity Program, which provides a subsidy for low-income folks around the United States, low-income households, has now reached about a third of the eligible households that are eligible for the ACP can now, or actually are now getting that subsidy. So we're about 33% of eligible households that are getting that subsidy. So I'll be right back. We'll take a look at the numbers and where it might fall as far as which month as to when those funds will no longer be available unless something is done to prevent that. So I'll be right back. Hey, thanks for joining me. Rick Uzzi here with Broadband Deployment News. So I saw this chart right here. Actually, I saw a reference made to this, the 33% number, and they were pointing to this site, which I had looked at back, I think it was January or February this year, where I was looking at the numbers and trying to project out when the ACP funds, how long they would last. And I was looking at this. This is a really nice dashboard. This was created by, you see here, the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. And this is a group that has been promoting Muni Broadband. So you can see here it says building local government to fight corporate control. So on their website, you'll see they provide a lot of stories about community broadband. You see here community networks. They put together this dashboard. So this is really kind of a cool little dashboard that you have here. You can look at the different states and what they're doing, and you can click in here or just hover over, and you can see this is percentage of the households in Georgia enrolled are about 35%, so a little bit over the national average. You see the totals there. You can look at a state like this is North Dakota, so they're only at 11.3% enrollment. And then you look at Louisiana, and they're up to 45.5% enrollment. So you can see by state. Here you've got, this is Arizona, right? Is that Arizona, New Mexico? I can't remember. What do we got there? Oh, nothing's popping up now as I roll over it. Oh, there we go. No, nothing on those two for some reason, not sure why. But you can see again by state on most of these. I guess if you hover over them, it will appear. That is going to be Kentucky. And then you've got right there 42.2%. So you can see quite a bit over the average, national average there. So it depends on the state. Then you've got the metro areas. You can see the highest and the lowest as far as enrollment. So you've got up at the highest here, you've got Detroit with 48%. On the low end, you've got Nashville with 18% on these metro areas, and you can see those. And again, up here, you've got your summary of 17 million out of 52 million households are currently enrolled. So they're saying that, and I think this is based on what the FCC says, is that there are 52 million eligible households in the United States, and 17 million, or about 33%, or about a third of those, are now getting that subsidy. So they've still got about 2/3 folks that can get that. And the FCC is trying their best to get people signed up. Now, that's a lot of households already, I think. And if they were to get to 100% of that, I don't think they would, then that would seriously drain the funds that are in there now. But right now we're at 33%. And then you've got a little trend line here that they've got, and you can see it diverges based on what the continued take rate would be. So if you look at the current 33% cap, they say that it lasts out until July of 2024. I'm coming up with a little bit sooner than that, but they're starting out with a larger number for some reason. I'm not sure why. And then you've got, if you looked at 40% enrollment, if they get to, like, say, 40% enrollment, then it would last out until April. And that's about what I'm seeing it's going to last to, maybe June, May, June. And then we've got out here, what is this? This is no limit. So if it just continues to grow, then they're saying it could be as early as March, if it just continues to grow. Maybe they're saying if it continues to grow at the same pace it is now. They've got down here subscribers by service type, mobile versus fixed. I didn't realize there's more mobile here, and I didn't realize that mobile only were able to get this subsidy. So I don't understand that completely. Percentage of households enrolled here, and this is by congressional district, so you can click on any of these districts and see, or hover over those and see those numbers. Looks like you just need to hover. Yeah, just need to hover. You don't need to click. And then there's some more information down here if you want to look at, read through some of that stuff. So I've linked to this site in the description of the video. So again, I looked at this before. I want to look at it again now that we're at a third of eligible households. And I wanted to revisit some of the numbers that I had crunched at the same time back then. So first off, I've also linked to this. This is the USAC, Universal Service Administrative Company. This is their ACP enrollment and claims tracker. So the USAC are the folks that put the USF fee on your phone bill, Universal Service Fund, and they're also the folks that are tracking these claims. And I think they're probably managing all of this as far as the money that goes out. So you can see here that they've got the different claims in different months here, how much there is, and you can see the $17 million right there of total program funding, and then they've got the various dates in here, starting back in January 2022, going through this. So what I was looking at though was this here. I like this. So this is total enrolled households weekly. So you can see this is the most recent that I have, April 10th, and you can see again we're over the 17 million as far as the number of households. And that's total households. Then you've got non-tribal and you've got tribal. So these two numbers right here add up to the total households. And the difference is if you're non-tribal, you're not on tribal lands, then you get a $30 subsidy if you are eligible. And I'll talk in a minute about what makes you eligible. And then if you're on tribal lands, you get $75, and you can see the number of tribal households versus non-tribal that have signed up. And you can see that how those numbers change each month. So we go way back to the beginning here when this started, and it started, you see the partial week here, it started really in December of 2021 when this was converted over from the emergency broadband benefit to the affordable connectivity program. So the emergency broadband benefit was something that was under a coronavirus package, and it's meant specifically for people that were having a hard time because of the pandemic. They were thrown out of work, they couldn't afford broadband, and you can get that benefit. And then it switched under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The Affordable Connectivity Program was under that, $14 billion for the ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program. And some of the money that was left in the emergency broadband benefit that had not been used was rolled into this. So, and as were the people that were signed up. So we started out with roughly 9 million people that were signed up. And again, some of the funds from the emergency broadband benefit were rolled into here. And you can see the growth over time. We started again with 9 million, then we're up to 10 million, then we're at 11, 12, et cetera, all the way up to 17. So I'd done this back in February or so, I think, or maybe late January of this year, where I looked at the numbers. And I went ahead and updated that. So again, I'm taking basically the same numbers that we were just looking at on USAC, and I was looking at it each week, week to week, and I was looking at how that was growing week to week. So basically, I was adding the growth factor in here. So you can see we started out in January, we were growing at 6.7% roughly. And then went up to 7%, 6.4%, 5.78%. So you see it was trending down as we were going, because obviously you've got people signing up. So the number of people that are eligible is shrinking, and the number of people, kind of that pent up demand and people hearing about it in the early going was having an impact, I'm sure, on how many people were signing up. So we're dropping 6%, roughly 4% here in May, 3.68%, bumped up back to almost 5% here in July. Again, could be people hearing about it from something or another. Then down to 2% in August, bumped up to 4.23, 4.72%. So I'm sure this is as different people are hearing about it from different places. Could be a particular state where they're promoting it, that kind of thing. And then again, dropping down here towards the end of the year, got down to 2.25, back up to over 3%. And so towards the end of the year, as we got into December, we were in the 2% range, and then it bumped back up in January, over 3%, over 3%, over 3% here, and then we're at 1.79%, just a partial month, just a couple of weeks. So it could be 3.5% or higher this coming month. And some of that is going to certainly be, there are funds now that have been made available, and there are grants that are being paid out that are for folks to help people kind of navigate the process, and then also for organizations to promote the program. So community organizations, local organizations can promote the ACP. And again, there's people that can help them, what they call navigators, to help them navigate the system and get signed up. So I was looking at all these numbers, and what I had come up at this point was that we had amount remaining a little over 9 million in the program. And then the last monthly subsidy payment that we paid out, $538 million, over $538 million. So I was coming up with, this would be, we would have no more funds as of June 2024. Last time I did this, I think I came up with August, I believe. So there's, it's accelerated a little bit because of more people signing up. If you look at the dashboard, they were showing more money than me, or was it less money? Oh wait, they're showing less money left, 8.7 billion. I'm not sure why I have more. Not quite sure why I have more, but I have 9.176 through all my calculations. So, and they're actually showing that it'll run out, I think, a little bit later than me. Well, it depended on the model, which one you picked. But we saw that it could vary depending on the percentage of folks signing up. So I took those numbers and I said, okay, well, if we're starting out here, this is how much we paid last month. I'm looking at our growth, and I'm saying, let's say we grow at 3.5% for the rest of the year. And again, you've got to consider the fact that the FCC is out there promoting this, and I'll show you an example of that here in a minute. So these grants are now becoming available. The FCC is out promoting it, including making that money available. So if we look at that same growth rate, we can project out, and this is where I'm coming up with, we will be out, the last payment we can make is roughly in June if we do that. And obviously, if you change that percentage, if I go to 2.5%, if it really averages that, oops, I forgot my little numbers change things here. So let me go back to where it was. There we go. Okay, so if I change that to 2.5%, then it goes out to July. So it's not too much of a difference if I drop it a percent. So it's somewhere in the summer, late spring to summer is what we're looking at. So unless Congress comes up and says we're going to fund this again, or they find another way to fund this, this is what we're looking at. So roughly a little over from a year from now, these funds will be gone. Now, this is a press release from Friday, where you see here FCC Chairwoman Rosenworcel and Boston Mayor Wu partner to promote affordable connectivity program and boost enrollment. So they are actively out promoting this, and this was in Boston here. Here's a quote from the chairwoman. Since the launch of the ACP, over 17 million households have enrolled and are receiving monthly discounts on their internet bills. The response to this program demonstrates that an internet connection is vital for success in today's world, but there are still more families we can reach. So they're still trying to reach families. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this. The response to this program demonstrates that an internet connection is vital for success in today's world. I don't discount the fact that an internet connection is vital for success in today's world, but I don't think there's necessarily a correlation between the Affordable Connectivity Program and that statement. Certainly, it's vital I think, for lots of people, including those that are low income, but you can't say that because people are signing up for the Affordable Connectivity Program, it means that it's vital for them. It's just the two are not connected. But it does show that people would like to get the subsidy, and it could be that they were paying for internet before and now they don't have to, or they can get a discount. A lot of ISPs are offering a product that's $30 or so they can get maybe free internet. So certainly people are not turning that down if they can get it. Massachusetts residents with income, and this shows you how you can become eligible. So they're talking specifically about Massachusetts here, but this would be the same everywhere. So it says Massachusetts residents with income at or below 200% of the federal poverty guidelines, or $60,000 for a family of four, are eligible for the ACP. Households can also be eligible if one or more members participates in SNAP, WIC, Medicaid, supplemental security income, federal public housing assistance, veterans pension and survivor benefits, free or reduced price school lunch, federal Pell Grant, or Lifeline. So any of those programs will also make somebody, regardless of their income level, make somebody eligible for this. As of the week of April 10th, 2023, current ACP enrollments in Massachusetts total 274,070, with 41,398 in Boston alone. So those are Boston and Massachusetts numbers there. City of Boston is targeted to receive a total of $250,000, which is the full allocation amount requested to fund the Be Online initiative. Now, this is some of the initiatives that are help to promote the program, which will consist of both outreach and in-person activities to boost awareness and enrollments into the ACP. So they're trying to make sure that people are aware, those people that are eligible are aware. The Bay State Medical Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, received $300,000 in ACP grant funding for a program to raise awareness and significantly increase enrollment in the ACP throughout the 4 counties of Western Mass. Massachusetts is targeted to receive a total of $550 million in funding for grants to promote the ACP program through the FCC's National Competitive Outreach Program. This total amount of target funding awarded in Massachusetts aligns with the Commission's commitment that each state receives a target minimum allocation of $500,000. So again, they're out actively promoting this, and you can see the bar as far as what makes you eligible. Now, getting back to the number of households. So again, 17 million households have signed up. We're saying 52 million are eligible. So 52 million households are eligible. There's about 124 million households in the United States, which means that a little over 40% of the households in the United States are eligible. So that, to me, that number seems pretty high, which is one of the reasons I think we're going to have a hard time maintaining this program, because if every eligible household signed up, we'd have over 40%, or about 4 out of 10 households in the United States that are getting this subsidy, that would be getting free internet or something close to it. And that means that that's got to be paid by taxpayers or by other people that can pay for internet. My particular preference is that the ACP, they transition this somehow in conjunction with the USF, the Universal Service Fund, by collecting funds from those of us that can afford broadband. We can have an amount on our bill like we have with the USF now. So we have an amount on our bill that helps pay for people that can't afford it. Plus, there are other things that have been floated. So maybe it could be that, or a combination of things, where you have maybe edge providers that are providing broadband service to various networks. And then you've also got content providers, like you've got Netflix, you've got Facebook, you've got Google and others that, if everybody kicks in a little bit, then we can make it happen that way, versus it being a tax on taxpayers. Because again, we're talking about 40% of households being eligible for this. And I would think that they should probably look at the guidelines so that, I don't know if 4 in 10 households should be eligible for this, because that's a lot of money. And if we could make sure that it goes to those people that really need it, and I don't want to be the person that figures out how you track that, but we've got a lot of different programs here that make somebody eligible. Maybe there's a way to, maybe it is income based or some other way to do that, because right now, again, it's at 40%. So that's going to be hard to maintain over time. So looking at this as it is now, again, if we look at the $14 billion that was originally allocated for this program as part of the IIJA, and we look at that maybe running out sometime mid next year, then if you were to go ahead and Congress would go ahead and say, okay, we're going to do another $14 billion, based on the current number of people that are signed up, without any growth, it would only last for 2 years. So again, another $14 billion only lasts 2 years. That's why I think we need something that would be ongoing, not a tax that's going to be hitting our ever-increasing debt, which keeps going up. We're not able to pay for what we're spending right now. That's the real problem. And everybody that's suffering from inflation and looking at a pending debt crisis here and having to raise the debt limit, there's that risk right now that's going on in Congress. We really need to find a different way to do this. And I would suggest it's not a good idea to go ahead and put this on the back of taxpayers. It might be better for those that can afford broadband, have a little fee on their bill, and it can help others that can't afford broadband. And again, we can maybe zero in on who can and can't afford broadband based maybe on income levels, those kinds of things, and not a whole host of things that makes it getting close to 50% of the households in the United States that would be getting this benefit. That gets a little bit high. It's not quite 50, but it's up over 40. Well, thanks for joining me. So anyway, we'll see what happens with ACP figures. They're gonna have to figure out something, and It may wind up being extended. I just can foresee that this is going to be one of those things that gets extended year by year because no politician wants to take away something that's perceived as an entitlement. Once you give something and it's an entitlement, it's really hard to take it away. And politicians on either side of the aisle, when they're not in power, they complain about spending, and when they're in power, they spend. It seems that way, and that includes Republicans and Democrats. So I can see this every year or every 2 years, they're going to allocate money, and nobody's ever going to want to do anything else because that's just kind of the easy way to go about it. And all that does is just raise our national debt, and it goes up and up and up, and we don't have enough revenue to cover that. And eventually things get really bad. And as we see right now, inflation's bad. Partially, a good part of that has to do with the fact that we are spending so much money, and we have spent so much money in the last 2 to 3 years. That's where it's all coming back to get us. Thanks again for joining me. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, click the bell to be notified, and you'll get a little notification when I'm live. If you like this, if you'll hit the like. You may not like it if you don't want to hear about taxes and those kinds of things, but in any event, I always appreciate the likes. Thanks a lot, and I will see you next time for Broadband Deployment News. Take care.